for more views, we are joined by Sunil Mantri, CMD Mantri Realty Limited, President Narratco, and Uday Wavikar, VP Consumer Court Advocate. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I think there's the buyer who's very excited, but developer community which is saying that, hey, things aren't hunky-dory, and in fact, the bill or the act actually is now going to make life even tougher for them. Uday Wavikar, first of all, the fact that it's going to replace MOFA, is that good or bad?
MOFA is a very developed act in Maharashtra. Supreme Court and various amendments have improvised it. In fact, if you see the regulation bill which is now passed, it is helpful to the builders more than the buyers, and I say it firmly because a lot of things will have to be improvised, like parking. Parking was not allowed to be sold at all, it was an amenity. Today parking is allowed to be sold except in the garden or terrace. Anywhere builder can sell the parking, which is not correct. The argument that builder, Panchali Cooperative Housing Society, Supreme Court said parking cannot be sold by the builder, that is now the entire playfield is given to the builder. Conveyance, the biggest problem of transferring the property seems to be solved, but it is not. It is only an eyewash, and which I have pointed out to the concerned Minister Sachin Bhau Ahirji, that what are you transferring within 6 months or 4 months? You are only giving the building and the land below the building, not the entire TDR and FSI. That will remain with the builder. So what happens? The third question that I would like to raise is, what is this 3 years imprisonment? The authority can grant 3 years imprisonment, but to execute it you have to go to criminal court, and how many years it will take, God alone knows. They don't have authority. Whereas under MOFA, you have to move a criminal court, but through the consumer court you can do. Thank God this regulation bill also allows the consumer court. And I am not only criticizing, these are the important issues which are more towards the builder oriented. Now in 3 to 6 months the project is cleared without checking titles properly. National regulator is contradicting. They are saying 1 year will take. Now fly-by-night operators are allowed to open website, and if you get an official sanction, what will happen? You will be selling dreams. But it is not as dark as that. Good things have come. A monitoring authority has come. It can be improvised, and more so there is a transferability, easy accessibility through the system. You can see there are declarations of the builder. People are, it will be more user friendly. But again, as you know, one of the experts, Mr. Sampath, who is my friend, pointed me out that 1 crore and 1 crore 90 lakh is the implementation budget for this. Can the authority do it? It's a very small, chinky budget. How effective it will be is a question.
All right, let me get Mr. Mantri's views here. Hold your thought, Mr. Wavikar. So you've actually started out by pointing from a consumer point of view all the gaps in this current bill, which is probably now an act, almost an act. Sunil Mantri, so who's happy? I know that the developer community is not very happy. Mr. Wavikar is saying actually the bill has actually made the life of developers easier than it was under MOFA.
I think government from way back 2008 is trying to bring this regulator in the sector, particularly in Maharashtra, and something was expected to come. So I take in another way, whatever has come, let's accept it, and how best we can try to implement it, which will balance the interest of all the stakeholders, that is the developer, consumer, as well as the government authority. I think this bill will bring good transparency. Of course, our sector is getting over-regulated. Everyone wants to come and regulate it. There is no control on the government agencies who are developing the real estate activity, such as SIDCO or MHADA and so on. I think the bill is missing. These authorities have been kept out of the bill. That is little surprising. Second thing, what I have noticed, the authorities who give the permissions or the completion certificate have been kept out of the ambit of the act. Because if I complete the building and, for example, if I don't get a water connection or a sewage connectivity or a electricity connection, how I can hand over the possession? So all the authorities who gives the initial permission, all the completion certificate has to be under the ambit of the act. I think that is missing. And what I feel, every day our sector is getting more and more over-regulated. So I think that's a worry point to me, because already we have a MOFA in existence. Advocate Uday just pointed out that it is a dilution of MOFA, because I don't know how many acts are going to implement on us every day, which is making the whole business very complicated. But nevertheless, since government has decided to bring this bill by way of the ordinance, I think we will welcome it. There are certain issues which we are going to place before the government, and I hope that it will balance the interest of all the stakeholders and try to give a transparency to this sector. Only my wish is that all the stakeholders must be involved, and if one goes before the regulator, then multiple litigation system, whether consumer forum, criminal proceeding or civil proceeding and so on, that should stop. I think it should be a single redressal platform. I think if that is done, I think a great achievement can be achieved by this regulator, which government of Maharashtra is bringing prior to central government want to bring the RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Act.
Uday Wavikar, you know, the fact that state-run MADA, CITCO, etc. have been left out, and these are the bodies which are doing large part of development work in Mumbai region. It's a big gap, isn't it? Why have only private developers be regulated and not government bodies?
I agree with you in entirety, Manisha. It's a discrimination. Major players are MADA, as you said, CIDCO, and these development authorities. They must be SRA. They must be brought in with, under an umbrella of one regulatory authority. I welcome the suggestion of Mr. Mantri that there should be one litigation window, but that is not possible in this country, because if you look at the infrastructure and the budget that is provided for even this regulatory authority, it is such peanut budget that the monitoring would be just not possible. How are you going to reach? Where are the interim reliefs, interim orders? Where is the procedure for execution? Everything is missing. It is, according to me, it is a good beginning, but it has to be improvised a lot, and woods are lovely, dark and deep, and lot of promises to keep, and we have miles to go before we sleep. So this regulatory authority, if you ask me, is not with the consumer, not only advantages, defect liability is raised to 5 years, easy accessibility, computer information, that's all. And luckily they have kept open the consumer court avenues, they have kept open the high court and other litigation, so people can take the advantage of regulatory act in the consumer court. But even the act itself is not as good as MOFA. It is total dilution. Look at the parking cell, look at the conveyance, only building and the...
All right, Sunil Mantri and Mr. Uday Wavikar, thank you gentlemen for joining me. And of course, this debate will continue. I'm just happy that one state, whether it's Maharashtra, has at least taken that step forward, and we do have a housing regulator in the state. National level, yes, some amount of semblance of unity across the country, or at least single laws which the developers have to comply with, would be far more welcome. A beginning though from a consumer end has been made, and we hope it will work and keep getting refined. Maharashtra could probably be an example. By the time we have a national level regulator, we may have some learnings in place as well. All right, let's move on to our Q&As. Manoj Jadhav on the phone line.